Okay, now that we got everything wired up, it's time for the main event. And the main event is going to be running the power to all these guys. I managed to do the wiring the best as I could. Had to move a few things around, but it's doing the proper thing now. I have the bypass running here. I have everything in order here, in order here. Cables are a little bit clunky at the moment, but they are still more out of the way than usual. Not quite fond of how I'm running things from the volume pedal into my first pedal. I'll have to find a way to get something maybe a lot more twirly, something a lot more looser to run into the volume pedal. But whatever, it'll have to be fixed later on. So first things first, after we open up the Voodoo Labs pedal, we have to mount the little wings on it in order to run it properly. The way it's going to work essentially is the volume pedal, the power is going to be located in the back of all these pedals. It's going to be facing outward like this, so that the holes would appear to be right here, or somewhere around here. There. That should be the way it's running. So you're able to run the power straight from here, and then you're able to have the courtesy power available on the left side. And the main thing is supposed to be facing inwards, so you could read it. So it's going to be in this little place right here. Okay, now what the mounting kit essentially is just these brackets and some screws. And what we have to do is we have to put these little wings onto the board. And it has to face this way, so it's supposed to look something like this. What you would do is you would remove these two screws right here, and you would put this thing in and screw them back in. You could choose to remove the little paddings here or not. Let's see if they'll get in the way. I mean, that's kind of the thing I was wondered about. Why putting these rubber paddings in there? It's supposed to be. It would be a lot easier if these things came just as an adhesive that you could put on yourself. But at the same time, I do see that some people would screw it up. They would attach it to the wrong place, and then it'll look really ugly the whole time. So maybe it is better just for them to take care of it themselves and not overcomplicate the process. Okay. Some kind of danger is that they put these things on there. There's two more screws here, so it's fine. Then we're gonna have this. Oops. And remember, it has to face out this way so that you're able to screw it in a long way. So now that we have it this way, we're gonna screw it in now. Nice and smooth, nice and tight. And honestly, look, the paddings are not doing anything for me. They're just there. I probably would recommend leaving it in there because it's not really doing much here. See, it is going onto it. See, the paddings are there, but it's just as strong as anything else would be, so who really cares at this point? Let's do the other side. You have to figure out how to do the fast-paced rolling thing. I'll probably Google it and find out how to do it in Movie Maker. Because I'm poor from buying all these pedal powers. Okay, voila. It has wings! Okay, now here comes the fun part. Now that we have wings on this pedal power, we are gonna mount it into the board. This is gonna require some screwing, so as the old saying goes, measure twice, cut once. I'm thinking about having it go a little bit to the left because I want to have something special on the right side, as we'll talk about it later. But that also means that I have to have enough space to go through this hole right here to run power to two of the other pedals. So that means I'm going to align it up around here. This is going to be the perfect spot for me, which is still pretty much center. It's just that it's slightly left of center. Here's how it's going to look from the bottom. So essentially it is just center. Just slightly left center. Okay, we got our measurements. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to need to get some kind of piece of tape to get the approximate this. The problem is that it doesn't really quite stand here, so I'm gonna I need to mark these things myself before I just start screwing things in. You see what I mean? Okay. 3 hours later, one new drill in. It's done. I had no idea how hard it was going to drill a real freaking hole in here, but it's done. So as you can see here, the Voodoo Labs has now been officially mounted. Four screws here and there, which I had to drill inside of these places. And I specifically placed them a little bit away from the center, just to have a little bit of space for my power strip that I'm going to run on the side of these things. And because my main power does not really come up from here, most of the stuff is going to go power down this way. Doesn't need anything to go here. Oh. Seriously, the shitty IKEA drill I thought was going to do the job did not do the job. Had to go invest into something a little bit better. Oh, yeah. And as you can see from this side angle right here, you can see the pedal power being seen through. And I'm going to run the cables all through these little holes inside and power each one of these bad boys up. Okay. It took some time and lots of dicking around, but I think it is finally complete. I have wired this guy up. All the cables are connected. I still might swap out a few things because, like, for example, I don't like the loop over here, as you can see here. And certain things really do just kind of pop out of the way. But everything is more or less out of the way. But the genius idea came to me while I was doing this whole thing. Why have the transmitter on the inside occupying pedal space? Why not have it in the back? Oh, that was the most ingenious thing I've ever done. And just luckily, everything managed to fit in the most nice way possible. It does take a bit of effort to get back in there and turn the actual thing on, as you can see here. But it is powered by the Pedaltrain, just like everything else, by a 9-volter. Eventually, because I couldn't find the proper cable, this thing right here, the red, which is supposed to be a bigger fucking cable, supposed to be a bigger nest, does not fit it. Because fucking Sony decided to use a different adapter, which I have over there. But fear not, this is not the end. At the moment I'm running 9-volt power, just like I've been running for years now. And, but you want to use 12. You always want to use the proper power settings. What I'm going to do is the same way I'm running this thing right now to the power. I'm going to run it behind into the courtesy power over here. The reason I can't do it at the moment is because it's a flathead, and I need a little bit of an extension from here to here just to occupy the space, which is the one thing that the other Pedaltrain, the Classic and the Classic Junior, have just a big hole right here. You can't really move it around like I did here, but you have two big old holes for the power. Anyways, so the receiver is now at the very end. The cable is running back here, and it is going. Damn it. Okay, hold on. It is back here, and the cable is going straight into the tuner. If, for example, one day, or most days when I'm at home, I would just unplug this thing right here and it would just go regular wired in. And maybe some gigs that I don't want to use the receiver for, if I got batteries, or for whatever reason, the room is bad or something, you just pop this guy out. This guy is not taking any space, it's still in the back here. And you plug a normal 1/4 inch, and you go back in. But this thing is already powered up, it's plugged in. I could just kind of tie down this thing if I want to, but I checked, it does not do anything. So, I have put a little booster here on the chromatic tuner, just for quick silencings. The tube screamer has its own little bump right here as well. The harmonies is going to be kind of hard to reach, so I might get a few more of these pedal boosters. We'll see or not. Or I might swap them around a few times. I might just take the tuner down and boost the harmonist. I'll play around with the boosters, which ones I need more at the time. At the moment, I'm using the harmonist very sparingly, so having it on a quick boost would be okay. The delay just kind of turns on and off, while the harmonists I go back and forth a few times. So it took a few days, a whole new screwdriver and lots of different configurations moving around and just pure decorating. But what makes it good is that it's documented, because the only thing separating dicking around and science is how well you document things. Alright guys, this is going to be it for me. Thank you for sticking through this.